Well, part of it is actually to inculcate a culture within the organization. So we try and do like mini hackathons within the organization where we throw a brief onto the table and say, listen, let's hack this brief and tell us where the platforms that we represent can come into the picture and fuel the client's solutions. So as you do more and more of that, they get into the drift of it and the flow of it. The next time when somebody gives them a brief, they start doing it themselves. One of the things that come out of a hackathon that I found very connective is the fact that previously when we were just print and we started to take print across to say the internet and to mobile, we used to take exactly the same creatives and we used to shrink it and fit it as a banner or fit it as a screen grab, and that didn't work. So we realized that the people interacting with the different platforms have different nuances. You know, they are interacting upon it in different occasions, whether they're on the run, like with a mobile, or whether they're at the coffee break with their tablets, etc. So we have to develop the talent, we have to develop the content that fits within the structure of that ambience. So I mentioned in the earlier presentation that basically the print products has always been perceived as flat, sort of two-dimensional, and we needed to get it current. So we needed to build those bells and the whistles upon it to make it sexy again. It's making traditional legacy media with a little bit of a twist into a new media of sorts by putting the multi-sensory structures upon it, the AR technology upon it, and everything else that we can throw into it to create relevance within an old platform and to make it new.
Upsell three-dimensional advertisements, upsell augmented reality activations. We upsell across senses as well, multi-sensory advertising. We're looking at technology, a technology called encapsulated scent technology, where it's like a scratch and smell ink. Because currently our news printing plants are air-conditioned, so we're not allowed by law to drop it into the ink trough anymore and the whole newsroom smelling of it. We put it into encapsulated technology, scent structures, so that someone has to rub their hands across to release the scent. We're looking at taste strips. I know the US companies do a lot of this. They call it taste driving, not test driving as you would drive a car, but taste driving. Taste it and see whether you want to walk into the supermarket and buy that item. Okay, so we're looking at to trial this as well shortly.
I think it's basically a mindset. When I think the younger folks and their parents grew up with print, it's always been recognized for a long time that it's kind of a paper that you just open up in the morning and you just read it and then you close it and that's it, you know. So we needed to make that trendy again. So we decided to then invent those new things that we can put upon it to connect once again with a younger group of consumers.
I'm always excited to celebrate inspirational game changers, the game changers of the modern world. Really gets me going.
I think the whole idea about game changing is that you have to be constantly curious. You have to drive the innovative propositions. You've got to think a little bit more out of the box, research stuff a little bit more broader, to be able to drive the value for your company that you represent. Because they're relying on you to drive these ideas, and you have to look at a multiplicity of angles and different infrastructures to take in those ideas and adapt to it. A lot of ideas don't come from the publishing business. They come from technology, they come from services, etc. But you must be able to recognize where the ideas are and to convert them into a publishing model of sorts and to try that out.
We went through a whole exercise recently over the last 6 months where we flattened our organization and to make it a more nimble and flatter structure. We took a bold step to drop the layers down in our organization. So from the smallest and most junior staff to the CEO, it's never more than 6 deep. Okay, and sometimes it's only 4. So we try and keep it really flat.
I think having a flat structure helps us in many ways. One is quicker conversions as in terms of decision making. So you don't have to go up the food chain and to get the CEO to approve something. And if it's flattened, you toss it to your boss, and if it's okay with that, you take it and run. Okay, the other thing is that it gives you a closer proximity in terms of how the workspace is, in terms of where your colleagues are, in terms of where the infrastructure is built, so that you then get to share ideas in terms of how crowdsourcing happens, because it may not be your project, but because you're seated within a very flat structure, somebody's project that you sort of hear about, you can sort of toss an idea in and say, why don't you try this? You know, and it works for us because it doesn't have to be you thinking about it yourself anymore. So it's not a closed ecosystem, it's an expanded ecosystem where everybody throws their ideas in and you pick the best out and try and monetize it. I think the forum is great. I mean, the name itself, Future Forum, is so apt because we're all looking for new future growth strategies for our own companies. And it's no better than coming to a future forum where we've been hearing in the last couple of days all these new things that come across different sort of areas, business models areas, big data areas, analytics areas, single business owners sharing their take on things, social media inferences. It's all coming together really nicely. It's basically how you piece that together to form the equation that will monetize for your business.